Welcome to Overnight Market Brief, Pre-Market Edition by AGI Era. Good morning. Today is Monday, February 9th, 2026, and it is shortly after 8 a.m. Eastern Time. This is your executive summary of global market developments, analyzing the overnight flows in Asia and Europe, the key macro drivers, and the setup for the North American Open. The prior session and macro context. First, a look back at Friday's close. Wall Street finished firmly in risk-on mode, driven by robust corporate earnings, particularly in the tech sector, and expectations of supportive monetary policy. The S&P 500 settled at 6932, up 1.97%, while the Nasdaq 100 advanced 2.15 to close at 5076. Crucially, the session was driven by a broadening market rally fueled by AI and earnings growth, but the real story right now is in the macro assets. Right now, the 10-year Treasury Yield is trading at 4.24%, up 0.83%. This slight uptick in yields is acting as a minor headwind for growth stocks this morning. The U.S. dollar index is down 0.5% at 97.2, reflecting a broader dollar slip ahead of upcoming data, with the yen notably gaining on intervention talk. While crude oil is up 0.14%, around 63.64, indicating stable demand, gold is up 1.06%, around 5,032.66, suggesting underlying safe haven demand amidst geopolitical uncertainties. Overnight session Asia and Europe. Moving to the overnight session, global markets have been largely positive. In Asia, the picture was unified in strength. In Tokyo, the Nikkei 25 finished up 3.89%, tracking a stronger yen, buoyed by intervention warnings and optimism surrounding new policies aimed at boosting corporate investment. Meanwhile, in Greater China, the Hang Seng advanced 1.76%, while the Shanghai Composite rose 1.41%. This broad strength in Asian equities was supported by positive regional economic data, including Taiwan's surging January exports driven by AI demand. In Europe, major indices are trading with a positive tone. Eurozone investor morale rose sharply in February, providing a constructive lead-in for U.S. traders. U.S. futures and the open. Turning to the U.S. pre-market, equity futures are slightly lower. S&P 500 futures are trading down 0.14%, while Nasdaq 100 futures are down 0.30%. The relative underperformance of Nasdaq futures suggests investors are rotating slightly out of tech as the modest rise in the 10-year Treasury yield creates a minor drag on growth-oriented sectors following Friday's significant rally. The daily catalyst. Looking ahead to the session, investors are focused on three key catalysts. First, the ongoing narrative of AI-driven earnings growth and technological demand continues to underpin market sentiment despite some valuation concerns. Second, geopolitical uncertainties, including trade tensions and ongoing conflicts, are driving a policy hedging theme, influencing asset flows and contributing to gold's strength. And finally, the broader market remains sensitive to expectations around inflation and future Federal Reserve monetary policy, with any shifts in rhetoric or data impacting rate cut probabilities. Given the overnight setup in rates and the dollar, the market's path of least resistance appears to be range-bound, pending any surprises from the data releases. That concludes your overnight market brief. Disclaimer: this podcast is not financial advice. Data may be delayed or inaccurate. Always conduct your own due diligence.